the voice of the people, the reflection of our collective aspirations, and the hope for a better tomorrow. In India, politics is woven into our culture. It is the beating heart of every chai shop discussion, every festival speech, and every village panchayat meeting. It has the power to move mountains, unite millions, and bring real change to the lives of people. When we think about politics, we must ask ourselves, where does it all begin? Where do we start? Every political journey begins with a purpose. It starts with an idea, a vision of the change we wish to see. Without clarity of purpose, politics becomes a game of noise, not meaning. It is not just about laws, policies, or power. It's about people, their dreams, and their struggle. At its core, politics is a means to connect with people, strategize for their needs, and bring about purposeful change. True politics is not a game of noise or manipulation. It is the journey of building trust, empowering communities, and delivering results. We have seen this. We have seen this time and again in our country. Those leaders and movements that succeeded were always guided by a clear, compelling vision. Take for the example, Nandamuri Tarak Ramarao, Senior. His iconic 1 rupee kilo rice, a program, his vision was simple yet revolutionary. To address the hunger and struggles of the poor in Telugu states. This idea was not just a promise, it was a purpose-driven vision that resonated with the millions of underprivileged families. It was not about rice alone. It was about dignity, it was about security, and it was about hope. The slogan itself became a rallying cry for change, cutting across urban and rural divides and showing people that politics could directly impact their lives in meaningful ways. And the NTR's clarity of purpose, it ensured that his campaign did not get lost in abstract ideologies or empty rhetoric. It was grounded in the everyday realities of people he aimed to serve. This is where political success begins, not with grand theories, but with a vision that speaks to the hearts and needs of the people. It shows us that when politics is guided by purpose, it has the power to inspire and transform entire communities. Take the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan for example. It began with a simple goal, cleanliness. It connected with our everyday lives and motivated millions to act. Then we'll take Garibi Hatao. Garibi Hatao was not just a slogan. It was a powerful emotional appeal that shaped Indian politics under Indira Gandhi's leadership. In the 1971 elections, this message resonated deeply with the millions of Indians who were struggling with poverty, inequality, and unemployment. Indira Gandhi framed herself as the leader of the poor, positioning her government as the only hope for economic justice. The success of this campaign is lay in its simplicity and emotional connection. It didn't rely on long policy explanations, but focused on a clear and relatable promise. By launching welfare schemes like the 20-point program, promoting land reforms, and nationalizing banks, she demonstrated her intent to uplift the poor people. While the results of these policies were mixed, the slogan itself became a symbol of empowerment for the underprivileged and secured a landslide electoral victory for Indira Gandhi. It also highlighted how political communication, when aligned with the aspirations of the masses, it can transform a leader's image and create a movement. This is what political movements should do. Take complex issues and present them in ways that resonate with every citizen, from a farmer in Telangana to an IT professional in Bangalore. Such a way it has to be presented, or such a way it has to be communicated. The next step in any political journey is communication. And communication is not about broadcasting or lecturing. It is about connecting. It's about speaking in a language that people understand and feel inspired by. Politics thrives on the art of dialogue, open, honest, and heartfelt conversations. When we communicate effectively, we don't just share information, we ignite inspiration. Take the journey of KCR and the Telangana movement as an example. KCR didn't just speak about the demand for a separate state. He connected with the pain. He connected with the struggles. He connected with the aspirations of the people of Telangana. His words were not abstract political statements. They were reflections of the people's lived realities about water, about jobs, and about the cultural identity of Telangana. Through his Padayatras, hunger strikes, and relentless speeches, KCR didn't just inform people about the need for Telangana, he united them. His ability to communicate a collective dream made the Telangana movements a people's movement, not just a political demand. Like Gandhiji's Dandi March. KCR's fast to death in 2009 was not just a protest, it was a symbolic act that stirred emotions and forced a response. His unwavering commitment and ability to communicate effectively, it turned the movement into a mass agitation, eventually leading to the formation of Telangana state in 2014. This shows that true political communication is not about words. It's about ignition, it's about igniting action, fostering unity, and bringing change. Communication in politics is not always verbal. Sometimes action speaks louder than words. When leaders take visible steps, whether it's visiting flood-affected areas, organizing relief camps, or even planting trees, it sends a stronger message than any slogan ever could. Actions build trust. They show commitment. And in a world where trust in politics is often low, such actions remind us why we believe in democracy in the first place. Look at Lal Bahadur Shastri, who inspired a nation during a food crisis by urging people to skip a meal once a week, with his simple act of practicing what he preached. His leadership during the Green Revolution showed how action could unite a country to overcome challenges. Consider Narendra Modi's Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. When the Prime Minister himself picked up a broom and cleaned the streets, it was not just a photo opportunity, it was a statement. It was a statement that no job is too small in the service of the nation. We can also learn from Indira Gandhi's surprise visit to Belchi in Bihar, that is in 1977. She rode on an elephant to reach the flood-affected Dalit families, sending a message of solidarity and compassion when others hesitated to act. These movements remind us that when leaders step out of their offices and engage with people directly, they demonstrate not only empathy but also the power of action. The power of action to create faith in leadership. Actions like these don't just solve immediate problems, they restore people's belief in politics as a tool for change. They show us that leadership is about doing not just talking. And when leaders lead with action, they leave behind legacies that inspire generations. Planning is another crucial aspect of political success. Campaigns are not just events, they are stories. And every great story unfolds step by step. First comes awareness. We show people the problem and make them understand its urgency. Then comes alignment. We get people to see the problem as their own, something that directly impacts their lives. Next is engagement. This is when people start participating, whether it's attending rallies, signing petitions, or joining movements. Finally, we move towards action, the moment when change begins. Consider the Green Revolution in India. It was not an overnight success. It began with awareness of the severe food shortage India faced in the 1960s. The crisis was urgent, and leaders like Lal Bahadur Shastri gave a clear call to action. His slogan, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, it was not just a statement or it was not just a slogan. It was a message of alignment urging the nation to prioritize food production. Under the guidance of great scientist M.S. Swaminathan, he introduced high-yield crop varieties and agricultural technologies. Farmers, seeing the importance of these innovations, engaged by adopting new practices, ultimately leading to India become self-sufficient in food production. This structured step-by-step planning turned a crisis into a transformative success story. Another powerful example is Mahatma Gandhi's Salt March during India's independence movement. It was planned meticulously to create awareness about the unfair British salt tax, aligning the Indian population around a shared grievance. The simplicity of salt, a product used by everyone, the simplicity of salt made the issue relatable. Gandhi walked 240 miles to Dundee, drawing crowds and engaging people from all walks of life, showing them how they could participate in the movement. Finally, the act of making salt became a powerful symbol of defiance, sparking protest across the country. This campaign was not just about salt. It was about igniting a sense of urgency and taking collective action. On an international scale, we can look at Nelson Mandela, his anti-apartheid movement in South Africa. The planning behind this historic struggle, it also followed the same structure. Mandela and his colleagues first raised awareness about the deep injustice of apartheid, both within South Africa and globally. The campaign's element was rooted in the idea of equality and human dignity, which resonated universally. Engagement followed with boycotts, with protests, and international sanctions. The final step was action, which came in the form of dismantling apartheid and creating a democratic South Africa. Mandela's journey showed the world how carefully planned campaigns could achieve monumental change. Closer to our times, Narendra Modi's Digital India initiative, it offers another example of structured planning. First, awareness. Awareness was created around India's digital drive and digital divide, highlighting how connectivity could transform education, healthcare, and business. Then came alignment. Where the vision of a digitally empowered India was shared with citizens, industries, and with local governments. Engagement followed. As people started adopting digital payment systems, online education tools, and e-governance platforms. The final step is action. The final step is action. It is evident today as India stands as one of the leading nations in digital innovation and connectivity. Planning in politics is not just about addressing problems, it is about creating a narrative that people can see themselves in it. When leaders follow this structure, that is awareness, alignment, engagement, and action, they don't just run campaigns, they lead movements that change the course of history. These examples show us that behind every great political achievement is a carefully crafted plan that unfolds step by step, bringing people together to create lasting change. Now, let's talk about strategy. Let's talk about strategy. Politics is not just about having a good message. It's about delivering that message to the right people at the right time. Strategy is understanding your audience, knowing what matters to them, and tailoring your efforts to meet their needs. Every successful leader understands this and uses strategy to bridge the gap between ideas and action. Take the example of Nandamuri Taraka Ramarao in Andhra Pradesh. When he entered politics, he didn't just speak about change, he became a symbol of change. His strategy was rooted in connecting with people emotionally and culturally. He identified the discontent among the rural and the lower middle class voters, and his promise to restore self-respect for the Telugu people struck a deep chord, traveling extensively in his Chaitanya Ratham. He personally connected with millions of voters. His messaging was tailored to reflect their cultural pride, offering a vision of dignity and development. The result, a political wave that transformed Telugu states almost overnight. Let us take the example of Barack Obama's 2008 presidential campaign in the United States. His strategy revolved around understanding a nation craving hope and change after the years of economic and political turbulence. Obama's message of "Yes, we can," it was not only inspiring but also highly strategic. It appealed to young voters, it appealed to minorities, and it appealed to working class Americans. His campaign made innovative use of digital tools, including social media and online fundraising, targeting young techie-savvy voters who felt left out of traditional political process. By delivering his message directly and inclusively, he created a movement that redefined American politics. In India, the strategy behind Mamata Banerjee's rise in West Bengal is another example of tailored messaging and timing. Mamata Banerjee framed her campaign around the struggles of farmers and laborers, contrasting herself with the perceived elitism of her political opponents. Mamata Banerjee's direct grassroots approach, combined with strategic alliances and unwavering focus on regional identity, it allowed her to rally support across diverse groups in West Bengal. Mamata Banerjee's ability to personalize the campaign while addressing local concerns, it helped her establish a strong foothold in the state. If you see Zelensky of Ukraine, it provides a contemporary example of political strategy in action. As a former comedian and as a former actor, he entered politics with a fresh approach. He identified the frustration of Ukrainian citizens with the traditional politics and presented himself as an outsider willing to challenge the system. His campaign leveraged social media to connect directly with younger voters, bypassing conventional political channels. His strategic use of humor and authenticity, it resonated, leading to his unexpected rise to power. Closer to home, we have Arvind Kejriwal's success in Delhi. It illustrates how strategy can redefine political landscape. His early campaigns targeted corruption and inefficiency in governance, issues that directly impacted the common citizen. Arvind Kejriwal's strategy of aligning his image with that of an Aam Aadmi, which means common man. Arvind Kejriwal's early campaigns targeted corruption and inefficiency in governance, issues that directly impacted the common citizens. His strategy of aligning his image with that of Aam Aadmi, common man, by using transparent funding methods and direct outreach programs like Mohalla Sabhas, it created trust among Delhi voters. Kejriwal's focus, his focus on delivering localized solutions such as better schools, better health, they reinforced his credibility, ensuring that his message resonated with the people who mattered most. These examples teach us that strategy in politics is about more than just ideas. It's about timing, it's about execution, and it's about understanding the audience. A good message delivered strategically doesn't just inform people, it empowers them, it inspires them, and ultimately it transforms the political landscape. In politics, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Overcomplicating ideas often leads to confusion and disengagement. The best political movements start with what people already know and care about. Simple, clear messages that resonate with everyday emotions are often the most powerful. Take, for example, Save the Girl Child campaign in India. Instead of overwhelming the public with complex data on gender equality and the statistics of the female infanticide, the campaign focused on a simple, heartfelt message that every parent could understand and correct. The emotional appeal was not about the numbers, it was about the future of a daughter, the hope and dreams parents have for their children. By emphasizing universal values like family, protection, and love, it transformed a critical issue into a cause everyone felt invested in. The simplicity has made Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao a national movement woven into the fabric of India's consciousness. Globally, a striking example of simplicity can be seen in the Keep Britain Tidy campaign. It was launched in the 1950s. This movement didn't focus on lengthy explanations or complex policies. It used the simple and direct message, keep Britain tidy. The campaign encouraged citizens to take responsibility for their surroundings by simply discarding litter properly. Its simplicity was its strength, as it appealed to common sense and personal responsibility. By framing it as a collective effort to maintain a clean, healthy environment, the campaign sparked widespread participation and was instrumental in changing the behavior of the British public regarding waste disposal. On the global stage, we can also look at Donald Trump's iconic 2016 slogan, Make America Great Again. Make America Great Again. And its continuation in the 2024 presidential race. Trump's message was simple yet powerful, focusing on a vision of a national pride, prosperity, and a return to what many of his supporters felt had been lost. In his victory speech, after being projected as the winner in 2024 presidential race, Trump declared, "Let's make America great again." This slogan was not filled with political jargon or abstract ideas. It was direct and resonated deeply with his audience. It appealed to a collective sense of nostalgia and pride, drawing in millions who longed for the economic prosperity and strength they associated with his earlier presidency. This simplicity, this simplicity helped to fuel his political comeback and mobilize supporters across the nation, proving once again that the most impactful messages in politics are often the simplest ones. These examples remind us that the most powerful movements and political success are often the simplest ones. When the message is clear, when the message is relatable, and when the message connects with what people already care about, it has the power. It has the power to mobilize and transform societies. At its core, politics is about action. Campaigns must be designed not just to raise awareness, but to drive people towards solutions. It's about more than just talking or debating. It's about taking concrete steps that create real change. Think about the Chipko movement in Uttarakhand, where villagers hugged trees to protect them from being cut down. This was politics in action. It was not about memorandums. It was not about policy. It was not about policy debate. It was about ordinary people taking extraordinary steps to protect their environment. By physically embracing the trees, the villagers sent a powerful message that echoed beyond local borders, eventually leading to widespread environmental consciousness and changes in forest policy. Their direct action. It inspired similar movements around the world, demonstrating how grassroots efforts can be transformative. In India, another example of politics in action, it can be seen in the 2011 anti-corruption movement led by Anna Hazare. His path unto death was not just a call for awareness about corruption, but a demand for immediate action. It was not about discussing policies in the comfort of government offices. It was about mobilizing millions of people who took to the streets demanding the creation of a strong Lokpal, anti-corruption ombudsman bill. The movement galvanized a nationwide debate and forced the governments to take concrete steps towards addressing corruption. It showed how direct action led by a single individual could inspire a mass movement that drove policy change. On the global stage, the Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. It is a movement in the United States. It stands as a powerful example of politics in action. While it began as a hashtag, it quickly transformed into protest, demonstrations, and calls for policy reforms around issues of racial injustice and police brutality. It was not enough to raise awareness about the challenges faced by black communities. The movement focused on driving real change through street protests, civil disobedience, and direct advocacy. The movement pushed for tangible policy reforms, influencing conversations about policing, criminal justice, and systematic racism across the globe. Like the Chipko movement, it demonstrated that politics is not just about talking, it's about acting, protesting, and forcing change to happen. These examples remind us that real political impact comes not from endless debates, but from action. Whether it's hugging trees to save the environment, or fasting to demand transparency, or marching to demand justice, politics in action moves us closer to the solutions we need. But let's not confuse politics with education. Campaigns are not classrooms. Their purpose is not to inform, but to inspire. Education expands awareness, but politics narrows focus. It eliminates distractions, simplifies the message, and motivates people to act. Imagine if our freedom struggle had been treated like an academic exercise. Would we have achieved independence if our leaders had spent decades debating colonial history instead of organizing movements? Campaigns thrive. Campaigns thrive when they inspire in action, not when they dwell on complexity. Finally, let us reflect. Let us reflect on the role of events in politics. Events are the heartbeat of any campaign. They create momentum. They grab attention and bring people together. Whether it's a Padayatra, or a protest march, or a massive rally, events show people that change is possible. Remember the Delhi election in 2015? The Aam Aadmi Party's door-to-door campaigns and public meetings, they created a wave of support that reshaped Indian politics. Events like these don't just communicate messages, they create movements. Politics at its best is about service. It's about putting people first and addressing their needs with empathy and action. It's about building trust one step at a time through clear communication, decisive actions, and thoughtful strategies. When we engage with politics with this mindset, we don't just lead, we transform. Let us commit ourselves to this kind of politics, a politics that listens more than it speaks, that acts more than it promises, and that serves more than it demands. Let us build a nation where politics is not a source of division, but a force for unity and a force for progress. Because at the end of the day, politics is not just about leaders or political parties. It is about people. It is about the kind of future we want to create together. Politics, when done right, it is a force for good. It thrives on meaningful communication that connects with people, strategic planning that aligns with their needs, and a clear purpose that inspires action. Whether it is the Chipko movement protecting our forests, or India's revolutionary 1 rupee kilo rice program, bringing food security, or global movements like Make America Great Again politics. It is at its most powerful when it bridges the gap between vision and reality. True politics doesn't just raise awareness, it drives solutions and fosters unity. As we reflect on its purpose, we must remember that the heart of politics lies in its ability to serve, inspire, and act. It is not about speeches alone. It is about the actions that follow, the strategies that succeed, and the lasting impact it leaves on the lives of people. Let us see politics not as a battlefield of power, but as a tool for progress and transformation. Thank you. Thank you.